Jazzcast Pros.
Hello and welcome back to High Vibe Table Talks. This is your host, Marshawn Hargrave. And kind of the season that we are in with this podcast is me giving you permission. And we have another permission-based episode today because we are coming up upon what I would consider like the busiest time of the year. We're coming up to the holidays. And as I said in a previous episode, the holidays are going to require a lot of your time, energy, and money. Especially if you are in entrepreneur-based or business-based spaces, it's going to be end your year strong. Let's do this. Push now. Grind harder till we get to the end of the year. And I want to give you permission to repel that, rebel against it, do something different. I like to create spaces and encourage people to build businesses that they can build their life around, not have to kind of fit their life in between the white space of their business. I want to build a business so I can say yes to leaving early on a Friday to go to a lacrosse tournament, to not having to do emails while I am at my daughter's school play, not feeling burdened to say yes to things that my family wants to do. Being able to be present with my husband and I when we're lounging and watching TV, being able to say yes to go on vacation both monetarily and energy wise and expectations of my business wise. I want to build a life that feels full of freedom, options, love, empowerment. And it took me a long time to get there. I know that, when I say this to other entrepreneurs, they're like, oh, yes, oh my God. Yeah, I have felt that. And so if I can say it outside in the community, I feel like maybe one person here needs to hear it as well. But like, I always felt like if I just do more, then I'll get to where I want to be faster. And that is just not the case. And so learning to rest, learning to recalibrate, learning to pivot, learning to stay quiet for yourself is super important. And so this is my permission that as the year winds down, we don't say like, I haven't accomplished all the things that I want to accomplish. So I need to hustle more to end out this year strong and feel proud of myself for the work I've done this year. And so I'm going to talk about 3 things that I want to empower you with. And the last one is going to be broken down into 3 tiny action steps that I want to give to you when you are feeling that pressure of do more, be more, hustle harder, kind of that girl boss energy. Welcome to High Vibe Table Talks, the podcast to help you, the current or aspiring solopreneur, navigate the messy middle so you can make both an income and an impact. Hi, I'm Rashawn, and I love creating safe spaces for women to be courageous in their dreams. After spending a decade working in sales for a startup and talking with hundreds of other women entrepreneurs, I know it can be lonely, but you can do this. We are having impactful conversations with people walking similar paths to you, so pull up a seat. This is High Vibe Table Talks. I think ultimately girl boss energy comes from our misogynistic environment because you feel like you have to match what the males are doing. It's a very like masculine energy. And like, even if you are doing as much as the male next to you work wise or as an entrepreneur, you may or may not get recognized for it. They're probably not carrying the mental load that you are at home, especially around the holidays. I feel so much pressure for myself to make sure the holidays are like so magical for my family, for my friends, for people around me, for, like it's not just about me making the holiday magical for my daughter. I want to make sure that like my family wants to make it magical for her. So we have to be there and we have to open our time, energy, space, home for them to feel that. And there's just a lot of pressure there. And so I think that girl bossing can have this very like masculine, but also it's not just about being enough or doing enough as the men. It's like misogynistic of like, you're not doing enough as me. And so you're not enough as the male counterpart. It's probably a lot more complex than that, but we'll kind of leave that for another day. Let's just rebel against the girl boss era. And so the first thing is the tug of war between, the finishing strong versus the slowing down. And, it's something that I also, struggle with my ADHD of like, yes, my brain feels very heavy in doing some of those things. And so if you are going to finish strong in automations. Finish strong in things that are going to have like a long-term effect for you. Finish strong in putting things in place that can support you in your long-term game. So, if it's staying a little bit later to make sure that your emails get sent out throughout the end of the year, that's great. I love that because now, like, you're not up on Christmas Eve being like, oh my God, I need an email to go out tomorrow. If it is finishing strong of like batching your content so that you can literally put down your phone and not have to put out any content the week between Christmas and New Year's, I love that. Right now, I am in the middle of challenging myself to finish all of my podcast episodes up through the end of the year. That's something I'm doing right now. And I love that. But it is finishing strong so that I can create more space to slow down. It's not finishing strong so that I wake up January 1st and be like, A, I didn't finish everything I wanted to. B, look at my to-do list. It's so much longer. Like finishing strong as building blocks to root your business and yourself. That's a yes. Finishing strong so that you can say, look at how hard I worked and look at how ragged I am because I'm doing it all. That's a no-go. And saying yes to slowing down sometimes. And like that is okay and that is important. And like that is, we got a fresh coat of snow last night and it is a reminder that seasons are changing and nature is hibernating and nature is thinking about connecting with our roots, and we can do that too. Number 2 is honoring your natural rhythm. The sun is now setting so early. I literally left a volleyball game the other night and it was like so dark. I'm like, it has to be after 8 o'clock. And it was 6:18. It was crazy. And so with that happening, like honoring our natural rhythm of like slowing down earlier in the day and creating space to get cozy at night and understanding like what rhythm feels good to you and kind of experimenting with that. And so now we have time and space to do so. I feel like the summer can feel a lot more hectic of like, I have to get all the stuff out there, I have to do all the things. And like in this time, especially when there are mandates on your energies more than other times of year, like maybe your email newsletter doesn't go out every week. Maybe it goes out every other, maybe it goes out once a month. Maybe just finding something that like you can sustain. Like what feels sustainable to you in this season and saying, I am okay with that because I'm being honest about what is sustainable. Like cooking dinner, cooking a cooking a from scratch meal at home every evening is not sustainable in this season of my life. And so I'm going to batch cook on Sunday. I'm going to maybe use one of those meal services. Maybe I am going to lean in on my community and ask my neighbor, hey, if I do a big batch meal, can you do one too? Or my partner or my siblings or whatever that community looks like. Can you help me with this thing that I just am not going to have the capacity for this week, this month, and that is okay. And so really honoring that natural rhythm and what feels acceptable for you and what feels like it is sustainable is very important this time of year. All of us have been up way too late wrapping presents, writing thank you cards, putting out the content, finishing the emails, and like maybe this time of year, you need to have a reply to your email that says, I appreciate you sending me this email. There's a lot of burdens on my bandwidth this time of year, and it may take me 48 to 72 hours to respond to you. That doesn't mean I didn't get this email. If it is urgent, please do XYZ. That is honoring your natural rhythm, your balance in this busy time of year. And balance is a hefty word too. I do want to just put in a little asterisk to say like we've all had times, especially during busy seasons of our life, where like we're like, okay, I can balance everything. And then give yourself like 18 hours and you're like, how am I doing this? I can't do everything. And so like balance is a like minute to minute thing, and that is okay. Part 3. Here are going to be 3 small, tiny, easy actions we can each do so that we can keep the momentum without burning ourselves out and honoring ourselves during this time of year. The first thing that I want you to do when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, burnt out, over capacity, over your bandwidth, or maybe just like you feel out of control and you don't even know, maybe you don't even have words for it, but you can like start to have like, you can feel it in your body. And so I just want you to like stop, breathe, and step inward. They talked about this during the podathon, and this one of the presenters was talking about how every day she spends like 10 minutes just checking in on herself and her energy and what she needs. And so take a minute when you start to get that feeling of just taking a breath, big breath in and slow breath out, and start to try to name the emotions that you're having. Really listen to yourself, what your body is saying, what your mind is saying, what your body needs, what your mind needs, and saying yes to some of those things. So breathe, step inward, and listen to yourself. And that is more of like a moment when you're in kind of really in the weeds and you're really in overwhelm and you just start to feel yourself spiraling. Number 2 is going to be more like maybe on a weekly basis or first thing in the morning or at night when you're not so much like spiraling, it's more of like taking inventory. If you're thinking about, I'm watching one of the seasons of The Bear right now, and if you're busy in like the dinner rush and you're starting to like spiral because there's someone needs this and the plates are crashing and so's yelling and there's an angry customer, that's when you breathe and step inward and say, okay, me spiraling isn't going to bring anything to this current moment, and so how can I find calmness within to then go and handle the things that are creating that overwhelm at the moment. Or saying, I am in the weeds. I need to tag you in because you need to do it. Number 2 is more like, okay, we're closing up the restaurant. There's no more customers. I need to see, look at what happened today. What do I need more of? What do I need less of? How can I make tomorrow more successful? And so number 2 is doing an energy check with the things that you are saying yes to. I had a guest on the episode a couple weeks ago, Heather Ack, and she was talking about how she got these 2 opportunities that came into her life. She got a promotion and she got an opportunity to have a booth at an art exhibit. And taking those 2 opportunities in and checking energetically with how they both felt, like the promotion felt heavy and it felt burdensome and it felt sad and tough. Whereas the exhibit felt light and exciting and terrifying, yes, but like invigorating, like fire starting, like everything that you have put time and energy and effort into in the past is like coming to culmination of like, this is an opportunity that like I'm so excited about. And that doesn't mean that there aren't scary feelings that are coupled with it, but it just lights you up from the inside and pulls you up, whereas the energy of the opposite just like drags you down. And so really do an energy check with the things that you are saying yes to in the moment, because remember, if you're saying yes to things, you're also saying no to other things. And maybe those things you're saying no to are things that light you up and the things you're saying yes to are dragging you down. And how can you create more of the opposite? And so again, take an inventory at the end of the day, end of the week, beginning of the week, whatever it looks like, and do an energy check with the things that you are saying yes to. And the last one, and this one has taken me so long to do, and especially around the holidays, it feels so untrue. But remember that you are enough. You are doing enough. You are being enough. You being is enough. And enoughness can feel heavy. It can feel like this moving goalpost. It can feel like you get one bad critique or you forget something or whatever, and it feels like, well, I'm not worthy. I'm not, like, just so guilty, overwhelmed, overburdened, underappreciated. And so if you can't get that from others, you have to give it to yourself. And I think that even in saying that, like, giving it to yourself is more important than even having it externally validated. Because sometimes, like, you can create these magical moments around the holidays, and everyone can be like, wow, this is so great. You did so wonderful. But until you truly feel like you were enough and like proud of yourself for whatever effort it is you put into something, like, it never will be enough if you can't give that to yourself. So telling yourself you're enough is going to be something that is so important. So maybe that's like a part of your meditation first thing in the day, to just like calibrate the day to be what you need it to be. And so telling yourself, like, I am enough whenever you need it in the day, but especially before you need it. I think that's going to be really important during these very hectic, very crazy times. If this conversation helped you exhale a little bit, maybe feel a little bit less tight in your shoulders, maybe feel like some of the heaviness of the season upcoming is just a little less heavy, I would love if you would share this episode with another entrepreneur, another woman, another mom, anybody in your life who you know is hustling and just constantly on that grind, especially during this holiday season. So thank you so much for joining today. And until next time, remember that big dreams and small steps will transform your life.